So Destin is now in the mud. He's left IGN and now he's got to, in a different way, confront the issues in gaming because even though he may have left IGN, he's still at the core of everything, a gaming commentator and somebody who, has been in the industry for the longest time. This is his trade. This is what he knows. But it's interesting that he's leaving at this time where this so-called console war is dead, but what you have now are the last vestiges of this particular thing where people are still acting somewhat pedantic, even to the point where some of them, according to him, are tagging him and saying that they're owning Xbox. Like in this particular comment, it says, PlayStation fanboys are tagging me about how much they're owning Xbox by pre-ordering Forza Horizon 5 for $99 so that they get 4 days early access to a game originally released in 2021. Xbox is probably furious. I can't believe you would do this to them. Man, and then he continues. He doesn't stop there. He said, if you really want to own Xbox, I'd keep pre-ordering. That'll show them. Then he left a link. Wow, I did not know this guy had sauce, bro. This dude, he's a saucy dude. Like, he just went ahead and just did all of that. Here's the crazy thing. I don't know if they're all PlayStation fanboys. I don't know if they're former Xbox fanboys. You look at this user, Tripster. This one's a joke. Forget what he's about to say. Then Noir says, and I had to mute Noir. I don't even know who this is, but man, just the way they're so furious about the fact that Xbox has decided to go multiplat. I think what it was is they based their ethos on the possibility that Xbox was going to go exclusive with their games after having bought all these studios. But the market changed and many of them were not paying attention, and this is where they are today. It says Xbox is not furious because Xbox doesn't exist. Interesting. Microsoft is happy that they finally killed a console that they never knew how to manage. Now, here's the crazy thing about that statement that Xbox doesn't exist. These folk don't realize that Xbox is more than a brand. I can't state too much how many people didn't really get any idea as to what this is. The Xbox brand, right, has always been a thing since about the Xbox One generation, from my knowledge. It could have been earlier, but let me go ahead and explain, right? Around 2016, I built myself my very first gaming PC. Since then, around the Windows 10 time, Microsoft had been integrating Xbox functionality via the Xbox app and the Xbox Capture app and a few things into the Windows ecosystem, thereby creating a brand that is outside the console. This is something that's been happening for such a long time that right now, anybody who is somewhat shocked and is trying to say, well, Xbox doesn't exist, it's only Microsoft gaming and stuff. No, you're actually way behind the curve. What's happened is you did not necessarily know, nor did you realize that PC had been feeding Xbox for a minute. This is where many people had basically, in a sense, just kind of forgotten what was going on. Talking about a console they didn't know how to manage? No. Let me help you out, little youngin. Yeah, right. But let me help you out, sir. This is not what you should be saying. Instead, you can see how when Xbox was going to PC to find food and bread, in the days of the Xbox One generation, when they were getting smacked left, right, upside the head, and center, they realized that there is a potential audience that could be captured with their proposition in this slew of gamers. We'll walk through what I'm talking about here once again, at risk of not just saying something, but actually showing what I think is something that is missing in the entire conversation. 2016 was the very first launch of an Xbox game on PC day and date that we know of. I don't know if that we're kind of certain about. But before then, there were other Microsoft games like Flight Simulator, Age of Empires, which was, an older iteration that had always been on PC. But we got to see, a console game itself make its way to the platform. At this time, some of the Xbox faithful who were probably sticking with Xbox, somehow, maybe they accepted that, okay, it's PC and PC is another thing, but didn't necessarily realize that Xbox saw it as an opportunity to go ahead and brand itself on that platform in order to be able to gain some market share where Steam was basically sitting pretty. No one was coming close to what Steam was doing, and Steam was actually doing a decent job. So once they realized, hey man, people on Steam are buying our games, why don't we go ahead and, find a way to ensure that we can also create an ecosystem where we can also sell our games and then add more value and start to make people understand our ecosystem. So Xbox is more than a box, physical box. Here, that is my Xbox physical box sound. However, the Xbox platform itself, that is the console, that is the brand, transcends the box as a whole. So from the PC, I have benefits that I can enjoy in the Xbox ecosystem. It's not all of them. The console still gains the highest benefit. Believe it or not, I've said this before. I can access the console, what the console has to offer in some cases, but by and large, they pretty much added this. This is additive to what Xbox is. So for people who would try to say things like this, and I'm sure this person maybe was an Xbox fan, in some life or whatever, they're muted, but you have to understand that what killed the Xbox console was much bigger than any kind of management. It was at its inception. It was poor conception that basically killed the Xbox One console brand and the Xbox One console box. They came out with an innovative device, but the pricing was bad. They came out with an innovative device, but the timing was just off. And so when they did not offer a competitive price point with what PlayStation was offering, they conceded to millions of users to go ahead and, jump ship and buy another console. So now that they're basically reeling from that in that regard, the challenge here is that people who maybe wanted to keep the old status quo are now reeling from the fact that the old status quo does not exist anymore. And so what they're doing is there's a little bit of pain. But as the Gamer2323 said, if you're older than 25, I don't even need you to be older than 25. I feel like if you're already 16 years old, even at that age, even younger, you should not bother console warring. If you want to play video games, you should play video games. Brand loyalty is nonsense. That thing is basically forgone. These companies, all they want to do is they want to pretty much grow themselves into gargantuan, companies on the backs of people who are, in quote, loyal to them. Never, ever think that these companies need your loyalty in any way. You should be loyal to yourself, your family. If you are, somebody who is spiritual, you should be loyal to things that are much more important than just some company out there, whatever it is. So all this talk about console warring is a little strange. This is why I looked and said, well, this has gotten crazy. And I said, why don't we look at the gaming industry and look at what it is rather than have to listen to people basically just spout whatever they felt was needed and then bring it out here to serve. Because again, these companies basically fomented and created these monsters. That's what they did. They literally made you think, like the Peter Moore guy said, we basically, encouraged the console warring because it was profitable for them. Now they want to put the genie back in the bottle, but it's hard for them to do so. Even though they're making strides and even doing much better for the consumer, some people, their software hasn't updated yet for them to basically see past that. All they want to do is just console war and console war and console war. Or they want to be upset that somewhere, somehow, Xbox did not fulfill their biggest dreams and desires of keeping things much more exclusive for them. These challenges are what we're facing today. And so exposing and pouring basically the entire reality of the industry out for everybody to see is a way that a lot of people are going to be changing their minds and understanding what in the world is going on. Talk to me in the comment section. Looking forward to, how the Forza game is going to be treated by PlayStation fans. And it'll be funny, though. Thanks for watching. Peace out.